This is WCPO 9 News.
Thank you so much for joining us for WCPO 9 News. I'm Craig McKee. Let's take a look at some of those top stories. The effort to vaccinate the tri-state against the coronavirus expands on Monday, with more people becoming eligible for the shots. Anyone 16 and older can get vaccinated in Ohio starting Monday. Also on Monday, all Kentuckians and Hoosiers aged 40 and up are eligible to get the shot. Kentucky's governor says he also plans to extend the state's mask mandate, and this comes after Indiana announced the mask mandate there will expire on April 6th. Prosecutors announced indictments for 2 women in connection with the incident that left a 1-year-old seriously injured. Police arrested Robert Fogel after a SWAT standoff at the Quality Inn in Queensgate last Friday. He's charged with 1 count of child endangering, also 1 count of felonious assault. Prosecutors say the child's mother, Kayla Dragston, left her in the care of Fogel and Mary Hensley. At some point, though, they say Hensley left the room and then came back to find the girl seriously injured. When police responded, Fogel barricaded himself inside for more than an hour. Both Hensley and Dragston also face a charge of child endangering as well as drug-related charges. If you're looking for somewhere to cheer on your favorite teams who might still be in the big dance, you can check out March Madness on the Levee this weekend. This will be at the open-air Bridgeview Box Park both Saturday and Sunday. Sweet 16 games will be on the big screens, and you can get food and drinks from local restaurants. Walnut Hills grad Maceo Teague and the Baylor Bears play Villanova tomorrow afternoon. Now let's get a check of your 9 First Warning forecast. Send it over to Chief Meteorologist Steve Raleigh. Steve.
Okay, Craig, as we look at things, a lot of clouds around here now, but we're going to clear out by daybreak. Temperatures seasonal in the lower 40s for our Saturday. A lot of sunshine throughout the day for Saturday. In fact, 60s and 70s in the afternoon. It looks like a terrific day around here. Sunday's a little different. We're going to see a weather system come in late Saturday night, overnight, to bring us some rain and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms. A few leftover showers are possible early on Sunday, and then temperatures will mostly hold steady in the middle 50s. Our 9-day forecast then shows some sunshine early into next week. Keeping an eye on opening day. Right now it's dry and seasonal, but certainly cool.
I'm Larry Seward in Clifton. From Cincinnati Children's to the White House, a doctor is hunting dignity for a community that feels overlooked by vaccine rollout and expendable.
I'm a constituent out of Mason, Ohio.
Dr. Kara Ayers' voice is more than her own. The Cincinnati Children's PhD runs the National Center for Dignity in Healthcare with People with Disabilities and co-runs her family of 5 with a husband in a similar spot, battling bone and lung weakening conditions that put both in wheelchairs where they see clear bias in COVID-19 vaccine access.
I've definitely had sleepless nights, worried about the future of my family and our health during this pandemic. The largest problem has been just a lack of consideration of disability-related needs. We hear about some of these max vax sites, which are a great way to vaccinate a lot of people at once. But for somebody maybe with autism or with sensory issues, that loud, huge crowded space in itself could be a huge deterrent. I've heard from many voices who have said, you know, I just don't feel like I'm seen as worthy. If something as small as my ability to even use the website is not considered, then what does that tell me, you know, about policy makers remembering me? Kind of this idea of that the sick, you know, are expendable. The impact is, you know, in best case, delayed vaccination, where people eventually do access it. In other cases, we have real concerns about people who are still waiting or have encountered these barriers and can't seem to get through. To feel forgotten is to feel devalued. And I myself know of the wealth of benefits that our disability community bring to every community, family, school, you know, place of employment that they are present within. And I wish more people could see that value. But I do worry that there's a sense of despair that will make some people feel like that they're not intended to be a part of this process.
Dr. Ayers will soon meet virtually with President Biden's Health Equity Task Force to share her story, hoping it and her community story leads to solutions and inclusion in future decisions. Larry Seward, WCPO 9 News.
I'm Ariel Carbone. For the last year, the curtain has been down and the stage dark here at the Warsaw Incline Theater in Price Hill. But better days are ahead. 4 shows by Cincinnati Landmark Productions here at the farm sold out in just one day. The mics have been quiet for more than a year.
It's like being a hammer and there are no nails anywhere to be found. Our purpose in life was taken away.
Roger Pilley is the managing director of Cincinnati Landmark Productions. He says the pandemic has been a challenge for local arts organizations.
Planning for something like that without an end date is so tricky.
But the spotlight is returning.
Just a fun show for sure.
The company will perform 4 now sold-out dinner shows, Blast from the Past, at the farm in Delhi Township.
The audience obviously responded. So that tells us the audience can't wait to get back.
Theaters have been really hurt, almost worse than banquet halls.
The two West Side staples are teaming up at a time when businesses all across the country are struggling.
The governor told people don't go to Christmas parties and don't go to funeral lunches, so we had like a very bad month in December, but people are really coming out now.
Farm owner Daniel Elsasser says banquets are starting to bounce back. He even hosted this wedding in January.
And now with the stage shows that we're going to be having here, that's going to definitely help us also. Every seat is going to be assigned to...
Yeah, what a great partnership between what we consider to be two venerable West Side institutions.
Billy says communities thrive when the arts thrive, and he believes the sold-out shows are a glimpse that a return to normalcy, even with the necessary COVID safety protocols, is within sight.
Yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can see it. We think that we're going to be able to get back on our feet and do what we do best starting in the fall.
And earlier this week, Cincinnati's mayor announced a proposal to dedicate $12 million of stimulus funding to art organizations, which Billy says will certainly help. As for the farm, dinner is being served here as normal. In Delhi Township, I'm Marielle Carbone, WCPO 9 News.
As of today, 71% of individuals 65 and over have received at least one shot. That's important because seniors sadly account for 80% of COVID deaths.
As the vaccination numbers continue to rise, there's more good news regarding the storage of the Pfizer vaccine. The European Medicines Agency has new data which shows the Pfizer vaccine can be stored at normal freezer temperature for 2 weeks. The new storage option gives more flexibility with its distribution, as the Pfizer vaccine originally had to be stored in expensive ultra-cold freezers. Colorado prosecutors are still searching for why the shooting suspect killed 10 people at a grocery store on Monday. A Boulder district attorney says finding the motive is the focus of the investigation.
The victims' families and the community are desperate to know the motive. We want to know the motive, and that's going to be the focus of all our efforts going forward. Whether or not we're able to determine it remains to be seen.
21-year-old Alyssa is expected to face additional charges in the next couple of weeks. The district attorney says those will include attempted murder charges stemming from the gunfire exchange with responding officers. The storms that spawned tornadoes killing at least 5 in Alabama struck western Georgia on Friday. Firefighters went door to door in Noonan to do safety checks and to help with downed trees and assess structural damage. Tornado warning sirens went off, giving the city's 40,000 residents 15 to 20 minutes advance notice. At least one person died in Georgia.
Very catastrophic damage, just stuff that's unbelievable. I kind of think about this kind of stuff when you look out in the Midwest.
The new American Rescue Plan will help millions of Americans and businesses immediately, but economists say it won't help unemployment return to normal for years. We spoke with one who explains why it might take so long.
We are in a jobs hole that's on the order of 12 million jobs.
Where most labor economists might see numbers,
It's just enormous.
Heidi Shearholz sees people.
I see the real people's lives. It's not abstract.
I missed the first part because my son was making a lot of noise. Can you repeat that, please?
People like Stephanie Dudley, who now knows the loving struggle of a life as a full-time mom having lost her job last March.
I feel like they're at 11 of the average boy scale, if it were to go up to 10. Hi.
For the better part of the last year, they have been her reality.
What's it been like spending a lot of time with your mom when she's been at home?
I don't really know.
Two sons, ages 11 and 8, who provide distraction from the daily disappointment of not being able to find work.
I think overall it's sluggish.
Although unemployment right now is well below its April 2020 high, it is still nearly twice as high as pre-pandemic levels.
This will help so many people. It's just a sort of a groundbreaking package.
Heidi says the American Rescue Plan passed by Congress is imperative. She says those $1,400 checks will be a huge boost to people and the economy, but not necessarily unemployment, even though more loans are coming to businesses.
It takes more time, to have a business get formed, built, happen, hire people. So it's not going to happen overnight.
In its most recent report, the Congressional Budget Office said the U.S. economy would reach its pre-pandemic output by this summer, which is faster than expected, but says unemployment won't reach its pre-pandemic level until the year 2024.
We know that things will be improving by then, but we are still going to have a big jobs hole on September 6th. There won't be enough jobs to go around by then.
It's why Heidi wishes the unemployment benefits were extended longer in the plan, knowing this issue will be around to stay.
I'm not really playing a game or anything, even though there's a switch right here.
Even if it has given some parents the opportunity to mom like never before.
But together they can be pretty rowdy, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I'm Dan Grossman reporting.
A new study shows almost half of healthcare workers across the country are still not vaccinated against COVID-19. Medical experts say those numbers are concerning for many reasons.
What about you? Do you know people who didn't get vaccinated?
I do.
Despite being a frontline healthcare worker during the COVID-19 crisis,
it's been a challenge working long shifts here.
Registered nurse Deborah Torres was concerned about getting vaccinated for the virus.
I wanted to see how my other coworkers that were getting vaccinated, how they did.
She waited a month after it became available. Then Torres got the Moderna shot. She says it caused all kinds of physical side effects.
I got the chills, nausea, dizziness. I had a fever, and I was very fatigued. And that lasted for an entire day.
Torres works at a major hospital in Southern California.
I know people who get bad reactions when they get the flu shot, and so they don't want to get the COVID shot.
Or many of her coworkers are still reluctant to get vaccinated.
It's not that they're anti-vaccine, it's just that they're hesitant right now because it's new.
A new study by the Kaiser Family Foundation in partnership with the Washington Post found 48% of frontline healthcare workers, nearly half, are unvaccinated, which is concerning for some medical experts.
So it's also a patient safety issue. If you get vaccinated, you're much less likely to give COVID in the workplace.
Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious disease specialist with Vanderbilt University Medical Center and a consultant for the CDC. He understands the concerns healthcare workers have about getting vaccinated, but says when they don't, it could increase transmission rates and also impact others' decisions.
If the nurses don't get vaccinated and people ask them and they discover that the nurses are wary, of course, because nurses are trusted, the neighbors and friends will be wary of getting vaccinated also.
While Torres did get vaccinated, she still supports her coworkers that haven't.
I don't have any judgment towards them, and I don't think any different from them.
Saying it's normal to be nervous about something new.
I think a lot of people, for the most part, it's a safety issue.
Even when working the front lines of a pandemic.
If you don't want to get vaccinated, it's your choice. It's your free will to do that.
I'm Kai Beach reporting.
As we process a pandemic and the shootings in Atlanta and Boulder, it's okay to feel stressed and anxious. Health experts explain what we're experiencing and what we can do to help. Time and time again, we see mass shootings send a ripple effect through our communities, causing fear, sadness, and a mix of other emotions. The recent shootings in Boulder, Colorado at a grocery store killing 10 and in Atlanta at massage parlors killing 8 can be difficult to digest.
When something like this happens, everything gets turned on its head. I almost think of it like a balance. I feel completely safe. I feel like if I go outside, my life will be in horrible danger, it kind of shifts the balance over towards that fear side of things.
Dr. Joseph Sochet is a psychiatrist. He says this just compounds with the emotions we've already been feeling throughout the pandemic.
During COVID, anxiety was up, depression was up. People that were predisposed to have paranoid thinking had more paranoid thinking. Once you're kind of primed to be afraid, you can be more afraid.
Health experts say we were already dealing with this flux of anxiety and stress.
It's almost like we're already set to be sensitive because we've been dealing with so much stress over the past year. There are two types of stress. There are those things that we can get control over, and there are those types of stress that we have no control over, right? Like a mass shooting, like when's the next one going to happen? Well, nobody knows.
But there are processes we can think through to help ourselves and others.
The best thing that you can do when you're feeling stressed is just to say, I'm stressed. Like, just own it. Our fight or flight response is in the amygdala part of the brain. And when we acknowledge that we're stressed, it actually goes to our frontal lobes where we problem solve. And then you can kind of unpack it. It's like, what am I stressed about? You know, what am I worried about? And then you can look at, is this something I can get control over?
Dr. Carl Clark, president of the Mental Health Center of Denver, says from here you're able to get your stress levels down. Another tactic, he says, is to pick a time of day to be stressed.
What it does, though, is it allows you not to be stressed 24/7.
And finally, focus on self-soothing techniques.
One of the basic ways to self-soothe is repetitive rhythmic motion, dancing, running, physical activity, meditation. There's all kinds of things that people can do.
As we've been told repeatedly over the past year to physically distance from one another, both Dr. Clark and Dr. Sochet want to remind everyone that connection and the ability to talk things out with others is crucial.
It's about talking to people and making sure you feel connected. There's no medication that I can prescribe or any therapy I can recommend that will give people a sense of closeness to others that we need.
And so whatever your reaction is, that's it. It's okay. Being able to talk about it, though, is very helpful.
I'm Chloe Nordquist reporting.
Some employees of Darden restaurants are getting a raise. Darden owns several major chains, including Olive Garden, Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, and Longhorn Steakhouse. The company says its hourly employees will be taking home at least $10 an hour, including tips, starting next week. That will increase to $11 next year and to $12 in 2023. The change will affect about 20% of workers. With hopes the travel industry is going to bounce back to pre-pandemic levels, JetBlue has launched a new travel site. The new JetBlue travel site provides hotels, car rentals, and activities personalized based on your flight info. Customers using the site will earn TrueBlue frequent flyer points that they can redeem for other travel rewards. One selling point for the travel site is that JetBlue claims its award-winning customer service people will be available to troubleshoot or answer any questions.
Hi there, I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Raleigh. We're seeing some clearing as we head through tonight, and we're going to start the weekend with some nice sunshine. It'll be sunny all for our Saturday until we get to the nighttime hours. Temperatures will be mild, but you'll see what happens late Saturday night, overnight Sunday. Some rain, and then we get some cooler air for Sunday. So we've got some changes throughout the weekend. Let me show you how this all works. For tonight, we're going to see that clearing, 43 degrees by morning. Then for our Saturday, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures through the day in the 60s and 70s in the afternoon. Now, late at night, we'll see that rain in the front and this kind of system roll through, and as a result, we have a chance for showers Sunday morning, and then it looks like temperatures much cooler and holding steady in the 50s. Our 9-day forecast shows how, as we get into next week, we're keeping an eye on opening day, and it's going to be on the cool side.
At the beginning of the pandemic, Alex Lucas says he got COVID-19. When he got better, some symptoms didn't go away.
Probably for a good month, I was like a zombie.
He could only walk for a few minutes on the treadmill due to breathing problems.
I couldn't think straight. Every joint hurt, every muscle hurt, everything hurt.
On top of his long-haul symptoms, work has been slow, and his dad passed away after battling COVID-19.
And it was a rough year.
Last week, he got his first Pfizer shot, and miraculously, his chronic symptoms vanished.
It changed, and I'm actually like smiling again.
Dr. David Aronoff at Vanderbilt says it's hard for them to know whether it's the vaccine that caused this to happen or it was just by chance.
We are definitely hearing stories similar to that from around the world.
Dr. Aronoff says around 1/3 of patients with long-haul syndrome from COVID-19 are reporting their ailments disappeared after getting vaccinated.
And what we don't know is if those people, that roughly 1/3, were going to improve anyways over that period of time. And it just was coincidental with getting the vaccine.
Meanwhile, Alex says he feels like he got 10 years back on his life.
The wedding industry is slowly bouncing back with trends that could be around for years. Engaged couples are committed to tying the knot with new perspective on what it means to get married.
They care more about the ceremony and the reason behind getting married.
According to Brides.com, 2021 weddings will be all about intimacy. Expect a lot of weekday and backyard weddings, unexpected venues and micro weddings, or weddings with fewer than 50 guests. Stephanie Singleton recently opened a micro chapel that accommodates about 10 people.
If you want to invest a lot of money, you can do that, but you're starting to water down the whole purpose when you get into having to have all of the frills and the thrills of all the extra celebration parts of the marriage.
Despite all the changes to weddings this past year, bridal industry experts say the dress is still a priority.
I think that brides still want to feel like a bride at the end of the day, whether it's a micro wedding or a large church wedding or a backyard wedding.